Welcome to Blog to Your Talent. This is lesson 19. We are on the topic of where to find content. One of the places you want to go to find blogging content for your talent is in online forums. And what I mean by online forums are places on the internet where people are writing about and talking back and forth about a single topic.
Be like a community.
A community related to your skill or your talent. So it's not a general information like Facebook where you have, when people post, it could be about the weather one day, and it could be about a funeral next day, and it could be about a dog wearing a tutu. And those can be entertaining, but that's not what I mean by an online forum. An online forum are people who congregate on the internet, and all they do is talk about a specific topic.
Yeah.
These are great places, especially as you get more advanced in your talent. Probably when you're just a little bit beyond beginner is the great time. I wouldn't wait till you're very advanced. You want to get started sooner in the online forums.
I would say that this has probably proved to be one of the most valuable areas for our kids as they're developing their talents. It's been, for each one they have, obviously they're involved in different forms related to each of their own talents, but as learning more about their talent area and connecting with the experts. And some are so advanced that they require you to fill out who you are and what you're interested in, why are you trying to join, because they want to weed out the people who are just not really interested or who are going to create problems in the future. So definitely seek out those good forums and use that as a resource.
And one of the fun ways to do that is to have a username on these forums, because most of these forums will require you to have a username, which is it's just like your ID. It's different from your email address, because your email address is going to be hidden from view from other users, so you have privacy, so people cannot contact you except through the forum, which is great. Parents will love to hear that. So you can really get personal with other people without giving out your private information. But because you're not using your email address publicly with other people on the forum, you have to have a username. And a username is just basically a nickname.
This is a fun lesson.
Yes, it's a nickname. Yeah. And what I want you to do in this lesson as an exercise is I want you to come up with your own nickname that has some kind of evocative meaning to your talent. And this is exciting. Our son, as one of the coolest nicknames of all the kids, he calls himself Scarab Coder. And as you can tell, he loves programming.
Yeah,
and
the coding side.
Exactly. And a scarab, is one of those little critters that likes to
He actually hates bugs.
He hates bugs.
But that's okay.
But it's very catchy.
It fits. It just fits.
And in this case, he Scarab goes around collecting refuse and bits of pieces for its own use and reuses it. So he's like the beginner coder that finds bits and pieces of codes that he's learning by practice and emulating more advanced people and coming up with his own code. And Scarab Coder is a great online username, so people know him in the forums.
And he says that they don't even use his first name, and when they refer to him, they always call him Scarab Coder. So it's definitely, and it was easy to find that domain, so you might consider something that is easy to find if you want to turn that into a domain, but don't let that stop you from
you turning your nickname into the actual personal domain site. That's right. Yeah, he has a domain site called scarabcoder.com. It was very cheap. It's only $12 to $15 a year. But you don't have to do this. What I want you to do for this lesson is to create for yourself a nickname that is going to be easy to remember, catchy, but it also has to sound a little bit related to your talent. Now, if it's a skill set that's very popular in the general public right now, you might actually have difficulty using a common word. So if you're into sewing, and you put your nickname Big Sewing Machine, it might be taken already. It's probably taken already.
Yeah.
So you might come up with something like Unthreaded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So something evocative, something catchy that you'll remember, and a nickname is a great way for you to connect with other people on the forum, because they realize, boy, if you're serious enough to call yourself that in public, then you're probably committed.
And something that you could even notice is that a lot of businesses do the same thing, where maybe I'm just thinking of businesses that I deal with. One is SurveyMonkey. Obviously, monkeys have nothing to do with taking surveys, but they chose an animal, but it's a survey making website. So another one is MailChimp. That's an e-newsletter website, and I don't know what the obsession is with the animals.
Well, I
but
think the idea of the monkey is they're kind of like your slaves. They go and get things for you, and they climb up trees and they make fun noises.
Well, they do that. The website, the online services do just that for me. But anyway, so you could come up with something creative. It can, mix an animal or an insect or whatever with your talent if it works. I would say, I don't know if he really uses it as a username, but our son, who is really into the stones and gems, his website domain is Stones of the Earth. So he could use that as a username, but unless it's used a lot or taken. But he was able to get that domain for himself. So
yeah.
You come up with your own. This is where you get to be creative and this can become your identity.
Now, once you do have your nickname, what I want you also to do is go into your blog, create a new post, and entitle it why you have this nickname, and explain. Give it. It can be 2-3 sentences. It doesn't have to be very complicated, and it's going to be fun.
And email us if you need help. If you want to tell us what your interests are.
Actually, if your nickname is really, really cool, I want to hear it.
We love this. So if you are having a hard time coming up with one and you want us to help you, we'll get the kids involved even if you want, and we'll help you come up with a good nickname. Or if you come up with the best one and you just want to share, definitely email us. We'd love to hear it. Lots of fun. Yeah.
Lots of fun. All right. Happy Talent Journey. We will see you on the next lesson.
Okay, Nicholas has an interesting name that he uses for it's now his your domain, and you use it.
Account for almost everything.
It's nice because if you just have one name that's unusual, if you have a common name, then it'll be difficult to find that if you sign up later for a Twitter account or all these different other social media outlets. If it's taken, then you're going to have a hard time. You'll have to come up with a separate name for separate accounts. So if you can come up with one that's a little bit unusual and use it on all of your forums and so on that you sign up to, then there's a good chance it won't be taken. So, tell them what your name is.
My nickname is Scarab Coder.
And how did you come up with it?
Before I learned how to code, I liked Egyptian stuff because my brothers liked Greek stuff or Roman stuff. So Egyptian stuff was my favorite, and a scarab is like it's supposed to be Egyptian god. And then
Isn't it a bug too?
Yeah,
it's a bug too.
It's a bug.
Okay, and you don't like bugs. Okay, go ahead.
It's a beetle.
It's a beetle. I don't like it either. Okay, go ahead.
And so the last part of my username is Coder, which I guess is because I like coding and all. So Scarab Coder. Nice thing about it is that it's never been taken before on anything yet.
So you've never had a problem of trying to sign in or set up a new account with that username is taken. That's kind of a bummer when that happens.
Because when that happens, you have to add numbers to the end of your username.
Right.
I always thought when you add numbers to the end of your username, then it seems like it's less important to me.
I agree.
Unless like people are getting almost desperate for something.
Yeah, or it's so common that
it
they
makes,
had to
it
put
makes it
numbers
feel
on
more
it.
unique without numbers.
Okay, so your tip would be try to not use numbers unless it's somehow related to your talent? Okay, not even 007, James Bond? Okay, never mind. So try to, I like that tip. Come up with a username, avoid numbers at the end if you can, unless it happens to somehow deal with your talent. So go get creative, ask friends and relatives to give you ideas as well.